Okay, so today we're going to be talking about creating our own files. Super exciting. First thing we're going to do is right click in here, create a new project.
How you right click?
New project or Java project?
If you can create a Java project, go ahead and do it. Okay, if it just says project for you like it did for me, you're going to get this dialog. Okay, and we're going to select Java project next. And now we're here where some of you got to already. We're just going to call this thing files. Okay? Finish that. Okay, that should give you a new files project up here. And hopefully it didn't fill everything in for me already. It did not. Good. Okay, so in your SRC folder, then we're going to create a new class. So click on the new class button, and we're going to call this class Simple File Writer. Okay, we do want that to have a main method, so make sure you click that checkbox, and then finish. And then I'm just going to clean this up a little bit so all we have is a main method. And we're going to start out with a little bit of a review, okay? We use a try catch block to manage errors that we can't control. I'm going to minimize this. Okay, so those types of errors are called runtime errors. And in Java, we call those exceptions. Okay, so there's a bunch of different exceptions. For example, there's input mismatch exceptions. And I'm a good typer. Okay, input mismatch exceptions are like if you were asking someone to enter their age and instead they gave you their name. Okay, the types don't match, right? You'd expect that their age would be an int. They spell out their name. We can't turn their name into a number, so that's not good. Okay. Other things that would create an exception would be a null pointer exception. Okay. Null pointer exception, right? We are referencing an object, telling it to do something, like saying, hey, Mr. Point, what is your x value? But Mr. Point is null, so that's going to be a problem, right? So that's a null pointer exception. We've seen those before, okay? The one that we're going to use today is a file not found exception, all right? There are a bunch of different types of exceptions, and as we go through the class, we'll kind of learn some of them and learn how to figure out which one you need to catch. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do this. We're going to go try. Okay, so all of the stuff in here is the stuff that we're going to try to do today. And then after a try, so this is the end of the try, then we have to catch. And today the thing that we're going to catch is a file not found exception. And then this is a parameter here. This is the type of thing that we're going to catch. We got to give that thing a name. So I just always call it something like FNF for file not found. Okay? Because I don't have a better name to give it. All right? File not found exception will have to be imported. So I'm going to import that. Okay, and inside of this catch is where we're going to put like what our error message would be if something went wrong. Okay, so let's just go system.out.print ln, and we'll put in here the file wasn't found. Okay, very creative. But basically this is just what's going to happen if something goes wrong with the stuff that we're trying to do up here. Alright, so let's talk about what we're trying to do up here. When we're writing a file, the first thing that we're going to do is create a file object. Okay, so we're going to go file, my file, equals new file, and then we're going to give it a name. Okay, so I'm just going to call mine example.txt. The .txt is called the file extension. Okay, we talked about that a little bit, right? .doc is a Word file, .mp3 is a sound file, etc. Okay, txt is a text file. All right, so what we're doing here is we're connecting to a text file. Okay. File will have to be imported, but so will the next thing, so I'm just going to wait till we get that thing in there. So we're going to go, this is the thing that's actually going to write to that file. It's called a print stream, and I'm going to call it writer, and that's going to be a new print stream, and that's going to write to my file. Okay, so we're going to use this print stream to write to the file. Now this next bit is important, okay? It's very important that anytime you open a connection to a file, like what we're doing here, that you close that connection once you're done. Otherwise you could damage, corrupt the file and stuff like that. So we're going to go writer.close right there. I'll just put in here, always remember to close file connections. Okay, so right now what we have is we're all set up to write to a file. Okay, and writing to the file is just as easy as writing to the console with system.out. So we're just going to go writer.println, and I'm going to write my name. Then I'm going to go writer.println again. Okay, and I'm going to write my age. Println again. My gender. Okay, writer. Oh man, I do that every time here. Println, and my marital status. So I'll say true, I'm married. Okay, so you guys can do your own information in here. Okay, at this point then I'm going to import the stuff that needs to be imported. So I'm going to do Control-Shift-O. Looks like there's two different ways of importing file. I want the java.io option. And just to kind of show you, up here we have three things imported. File, file not found exception, and print stream. Those are all part of the IO package. IO stands for input output, and that's basically just stuff that's used for reading and writing files. Okay? Alright, so at this point then, I'm going to open this back up so you guys can see the project. So here's my files project. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and run Simple File Writer. Okay, watch what I'm doing here. Run it. Doesn't seem like it does much. Oh, why is that happening? Okay, so it should have run that. Now I'm going to right click on Files and refresh it. And when I do that, I get this new file down here called example.txt. Now, when you refresh it, you got to be careful that you are refreshing the project, okay? So like if you refresh the default package, that example.txt might not show up. So make sure you're right-clicking on Files and then doing refresh. Okay? And then example.txt is all the stuff that we just wrote to that file. Okay? So again, here's example.txt, a new file. We're going to write to that. We're going to write 4 lines. Those are those 4 lines written to the file. Then we're closing it, and that's it.